Greetings to one and all. Welcome to our Ask and Know series addressing the many spiritual questions. We hope to gain awareness and a deeper understanding of our spiritual living and spiritual transformation. And our present panelists will share of their daily spiritual practices and spiritual experiences. They are Audrey from New York, Cindy from Mexico, Gopal Gupta from Netherlands, and our special guest, Professor Durga Prasad Ji from Connecticut. We have already received questions by our email from our invited guests. The question is, the one thing I have noticed on the rise on a global level is the lack of coping skills. In the face of COVID, economic challenges, and so forth, what can we do on a daily basis to improve our coping skills in life?
Coping or dealing with situation is basically your own habits. If you're not in habit of managing your mind and your thinking in a particular way, it will be like uncontrolled horse taking you somewhere.
When we think about coping skills, and the mention is of the COVID and economic problems, we're talking about ups and downs in life.
Sometimes, especially during this pandemic time, it was thrown on us to change everything. And whatever was normal was not normal anymore. And so people then start realizing that whatever they thought was so important was not that important any longer. What was important is to stay healthy, to go by the rules and regulations of that moment, and to do your best to thrive.
And I think a key point is, how do we understand what is our perspective on that problem? And why is this relevant? Because how we understand what our perspective is changes how we perceive our life and any problems.
But during COVID, when you were alone, you were asked to be alone in your home or your room, maybe if you are infected, or if you are not infected but in a home situation where you're not going to office, not meeting your friends, not meeting your neighbors even, not seeing anybody outside the home. I think those who are in habit of spending time with themselves. For example, some people say that I have a habit of spending 15 minutes every day with myself, 1 hour every day with myself. I read some books, I read some articles, I practice something, I sit alone think, or I do some singing session, or I do some kind of, whatever, your hobbies. If you're not in habit of spending time with yourself, then you need somebody around you to always, keep you engaged. It's like engaging your mind. The problem is not COVID, or probably not basically the other situations. Problem is, how do you engage your mind? Do you need something always to do something to keep yourself happy and engaged?
By nature, mind is fluctuating. It is always in the state of fluctuation. It goes object after object after object, thinking of that we can find peace and pleasure on that object or this object. You reach there and you think and you realize that it is just like mirage and I don't have that peace and pleasure here. So let us go there. You go there and again you say this is a mirage and there's no peace and happiness there.
So we have to start prioritizing then. What is the most important thing in our life? So we could not just survive, so we could thrive. And for that, we have the intellect. We have our body, we have the mind, we have the intelligence, we have the reasoning power. We have all these skills by which we can then create such a environment that we can then adjust to what we feel or believe we want to accomplish.
And what does spirituality inject into our lives? A broader perspective. A person who is in a room, they can only see what is within the 4 walls of that room. If that person goes to the roof of whatever building they're in, they will see a little bit wider panorama, maybe a few blocks, maybe they can see a park down the road, something like that. If that person goes, to a skyscraper, maybe they can see their whole city. If you're in a plane, maybe you can see lakes and surrounding terrain, you can see something different. And some of these things, if you have that true meditation, we're constantly talking about meditation. If you have that true meditation imparted to you in your life and you are practicing it, then there are some very automatic benefits that you can start to perceive.
So idea is to keep your mind, give everything to your mind, also relax, also freedom, also success, enjoy all that, but not in an uncontrolled fashion. Let it be in a controlled fashion. And then you will take everything as it comes. Like COVID came, now COVID is gone, something else might come, personal situations. You might lose a job, then you have jobless for a month. What will you do? So you have to cope with those things. That comes with the control of your mind.
When you are alone in that situation, then don't worry, don't be afraid. Just remember that you are with your great friend. That great friend is your mind. So in order to get happiness and peace to the mind, you have to bring it to the spirituality. And now, when we come to spirituality, and if we have received the knowledge, then I would say there is no problem in coping with the COVID or any other kind of natural calamity or whatever situation we are put in.
Right now, meditation is a huge, huge thing. But what is meditation really? It is the focusing of your energy and bring it within so you can connect with the source from where the energy itself permeates. And with that, become that full person, the full being that you are.
So I think that the main coping skill that we can inject into our daily lives is having that meditative practice, having that spiritual practice that will help us better understand each different situation, except the things that we cannot change, as I said in that Serenity Prayer, and know how to act, what action to take. It is not about being passive. We also have to act.
To have a good life, we have to be complete, meaning not only nourish our mundane physical life, but also nourish our spiritual life. And for that, we have to learn to the spiritual meditation by which we can nourish the spirit. And I feel that once you understand that and you realize that you need all these elements and you have to build a habit and a discipline, that slowly and surely you will have those coping skills that will give you a very balanced and also a happy life.